Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of A Sculpted Life. I can hardly believe that I'm wrapping up my time here in Button Hook Bay. This morning, this bald eagle joined me, and it was so incredible to just listen to the sounds echo off the walls of the canyons around me. It's been such a great stay here, and but I actually am excited to kind of move forward further up the lake. So I'm going to be pulling the anchor and moving to the eastern shoreline, which is a much more remote area, to test out this whole concept of me carving from the boat. Well, today's the first day kind of in this little spot that I'm going to be doing some carving at. It's going to be kind of interesting to see if this all works out, but I have to say there's a lot of moving parts to getting this kind of carving equipment, narrowing my tool set down to just the basics and everything. But boat's been in the water for almost a week now, and relatively trouble-free, and I had my daughter out for the weekend and then made my way to the anchorage last night and ended up dropping the hook and almost in the dark, which didn't really want to do. Lake Pend Oreille's got very few really good anchorages, especially here on the lower end of the lake, and so the water is pretty deep, and didn't sleep all that well last night because I think my anchor kind of slid off the little slope here, but I'm pretty much in the same position I was last night, so that's good. But anyway, I'm kind of excited. This has been a dream of mine for such a long time, to be able to come out and spend some time on the boat, but also get some work done too. And I think sometimes there's a little bit of a refreshment that goes on in your spirit, you know, when you're on the water and just kind of mixing things up. So anyway, looking forward to it. This trip is really a culmination of many things. many new things actually, and for the very first time, I'm launching Raven, this sailboat of mine, and I have never sailed. So some of this is, me trying to figure out how to do remote carving from a shoreline, trying to figure out things that are going on with a brand new boat, and just all kinds of new things, including filming and trying to tell this story in a compelling way. So this was the testing ground of whether or not this is something that I want to pursue in terms of sharing my life as an artist, and being able to get out and just kind of be inspired and be restored. So I think for this channel, A Sculpted Life in general, it's really about me working in and out of the studio, sharing my life in the way that I seek out inspiration and kind of renewing. And so anyway, I really hope you do enjoy some of these episodes. This season for sure will be on Lake Oreille, so you'll see more content as I spin the summer. This year I actually have the boat in a slip in a little town called Bayview, which is at the southern end of the lake, and so that will allow me to use the boat much more frequently while maintaining my life through the studio and family life as well. Whew. Out of breath. As you can see, there's quite a bit of work involved in moving this log and all the tools that's necessary up to this little flat spot that I found on the mountainside. As I said before, Lake Oreille has a lot of shoreline that is really inaccessible, and so there's very few places that you can, A, safely anchor a boat, and B, find a place near the shore where you can kind of have a flat area to work. So anyway, as I said before, there is a lot of things that I need to still figure out. There's tools that I don't need, and there's certainly tools that I do need. One of the problems that I came up against was I had this little battery kind of portable power pack that I had, and it turns out the startup needs for power tools were too great for this little unit, which made basically me be able to just do some blocking out. I wasn't really able to do many details. So as you can see, I do start this sculpture. I do it in chainsaw, but I'm doing most of my finished work back at the studio. This is certainly not the most efficient way to make art. There's lots of extra steps and things to plan for in doing this remote shore carving. However, it really isn't about that at all. It's about spending some time in nature and getting some work accomplished. I can take these sculptures that I blocked out here on the lake and take them back to the studio to do some of the final details before finding homes for them. So parts of the year I do mostly commission work, and other parts of the year I'm preparing for the show season. So I try to put a few sculptures away here and there so that when we do have shows in the summer months that I actually have artwork to be available for sale. Here's the same sculpture finished out back at the studio. It does make it a little bit easier to finish out when you've got the full resources of everything at your fingertips. But I think as time goes on, it'll be just fine. As the day progressed, the wind started to build to the point where I really felt like I was uncomfortable in the anchorage where I was at. It's really technically not even an anchorage, so it has very little protection. The wind was coming in from basically the southwest, and it was building to about 15, 20 knots. So I decided to go ahead and pull the anchor and move to the northern part of the lake as I was trying to make my way up that way anyway. Overall, this trip has been a raging success. There has been a number of different things that I wanted to accomplish. One is to test the boat, to learn about the boat, to sail for the very first time single-handed, and try out shore carving and seeing the difficulty of bringing tools aboard and tools ashore, what tools I need and I don't need. Really, there's a million things, and on top of all that, maybe the most important thing would be that I felt rested and restored. I really feel rejuvenated by spending time aboard the boat and on the water. I really do like people, but I do find that I get also kind of restored by spending time alone in places like this. So it was a really good time for me to spend on the boat. I mean, I got to eat really, really good food. We did some mountain biking, experienced some amazing sunsets that were absolutely amazing. This lake is really, truly a gem. I even got to do a little bit of fishing, and so that was pretty fun. I rowed the boat and trolled by rowing, so that was kind of fun. Anyway, there's been lots of highlights of this trip, and lots of lessons learned for sure. And I really appreciate you guys coming along and following my journey as an artist. And I just feel like it's really important to share really cool experiences in hopes that you are inspiring others to do similar things, or even that it's just documenting your life for future reflection. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode of A Sculpted Life, and we'll see you on the next one.